episode of the Dubious Counsel. I'm Dion,
Bill,
and Nathan.
And today we are talking about Harad. The Serpent Horde, as they're called in the armies of the Lord of the Rings. So, what's the biggest feature of Harad? What's the elephant in the room?
Stop talking right now.
Alright, so what's the most iconic thing about the Harad? Nathan.
The Moomax.
The Moomax.
In fact, I'd say it's the only iconic thing about the Harad.
Oh, the little dudes in their pajamas is pretty, like...
it's the wicked man.
You might want to cut that out. Yeah, the Moomax. The gigantic fucking 100-foot elephants. Like,
So, quick pros and cons.
Elephants, sorry.
Elephants.
Very expensive.
What, just about the Moomax or the
Yeah,
fucking
just
beast?
about the Moomax.
Yeah, expensive, hard to use. Like, it's quite... Especially if you're playing on boards that have a decent amount of terrain, it's very difficult to get your value out of it.
True.
When you do get value out of it, though, it can... Obviously, for a model that is that expensive, it can just win you the whole game by itself.
Just play a game with low rocks.
Yeah. Anything that can walk over or
Yeah.
walk through, that's what you want to play with.
I think they're very customizable.
They do have a lot of options.
You can kit them out to do different things, but realistically...
Pimp my Moomac.
Pimp my Moomax.
10 PlayStations on the back.
That's why their bows never
That's
get...
what they do.
It's
That's what they do on the way. It
spins.
takes ages to get to Mordor. We'd have PlayStations on the back. Why don't you get people to sit
Oh,
the
yeah,
stupid
yeah.
hell there that time?
but really, really difficult, I think, to use effectively, and they cost... What's the base Moomax?
$275.
That's a lot of points.
Is
Then it costs you 84 to put 12 dudes on top, so you're already at 340 points
Yeah,
base.
wow.
And
Before
you're gonna
you
want
upgrade
to give
the
it the
hide
gnarled
thing,
hide, so it
and
gets
the
extra defense.
Fell Temperament, is it? Is that the one where you get the +1 attack?
So there's like half an army, straight up, before you even pick your leader of your
That's
army.
before you even talk about the special move.
Yeah, so they're very iconic, very cool model, but
They are good, just difficult to use, and
Yeah.
I think you probably get more stuff out of the army by not taking them.
so what's their army bonus build?
The generic one.
Yeah, their generic army
Yeah,
bonus.
I should know it anyway. So you get everything gets poison weapon, so bows, spears.
Just for the raiders and
Is
warriors.
it just for the raiders and the warriors?
Yeah, so your generic boys get.
And you can take
poison weapons.
50% bows, which
You
is
will do.
good.
Really good.
You will definitely do.
100%.
So especially because all the Haradrim warriors and raiders already have poison bows, so it basically gives them poison war spears as well.
A war spear is a lance, by the way.
It's called a lance. Hello?
Poison
Plus one
lances
wound.
are quite good.
And reroll once to wound. Very good. So Nathan, what would your standout hero be in Harad, in the Serpent Horde?
I don't necessarily know about standout, but my favourite for sure is the Sharon. They're just really cool. Like, they're little assassins. They actually work quite well in the game as assassins.
Being able to reroll your wounds.
Yeah,
is
they
the
get
number
to
one tick.
reroll all their failed wounds. While they're standing up, they can never be trapped, so you can put them in some interesting spots where
And
you
they have
normally
an
wouldn't
open
want to put stuff.
Theoretically.
Have an open cloak. Throwing daggers, they have a blowpipe. Forget about that all the time. But
And for 80 points, they have 3 attacks at fight 5.
yeah, and they have the only real downside is that they do have 3 fate. That's cool, but they have 1 might, and they have strike and defense. Defense is good because they are in their pajamas. They are defense 4. Strike is good because you want them to try and smack a hero with your reroll failed wound rolls, but they only have the 1 point might, so that makes it a bit tough.
What's your pick for characters, Bill?
The big first one, big salad man.
Suladan,
So
the
usually-
Serpent Lord.
I usually take it only, so he's an okay character, he's not the best. I wouldn't be throwing him in like a wrecking ball.
In the
but
grand scheme of the game, he's okay.
He's
But
the best.
in this
he's
army-
the best the Serpent Horde has to offer,
yeah. So he's a 6-inch banner. Yep.
and doesn't get a neg-on penalty for it. And it actually.
And he can take an armoured horse. That's why.
It's also interesting that's actually a banner. So some characters like Armdur for the Eastlings or a few others they count as a banner. Like Aragorn, King Alessa, counts as a banner.
Yes.
In games where you get victory points for banners, you don't get a victory point for having someone that counts as a banner. Saladin actually has a banner that he just doesn't get the neg 1 for using. So
It's a pretty big banner.
it counts for victory points, which is cool.
He's got a poison sword as well. That's kind of cool.
He's not that good at fighting. I wouldn't be throwing him in.
It is odd that in the leader of an army where literally everything else in the army, except for like very, very niche specific things, can have war spears that the leader of the army can't have a war spear.
You can have poison bow though.
That's not a poison war spear.
No, it's not. And I guess my
I get it, because the whole thing's like, isn't it like the fucking swords, like the little, it's the Darksaber, like it's this little fucking thing of office.
yeah, basically. Yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So my pick for hero in this army is actually all the way back here in Mordor.
Because he
it's
likes to win and
the
have no
Betrayer.
friends.
I have lots of friends,
Doesn't
and I
win.
don't win. What are you
He
talking
doesn't
about?
No, he wants to though.
Remember that last time the Witch King beach slapped him?
So my pick is the Betrayer.
Because he dogs the boys, you know.
So he's a good character. He's a wizard, etc., etc., etc. He's a ring wraith who causes
I wouldn't
terror.
call him a wizard.
No, he's not.
He's not very
He's a
good.
very bad caster.
Oh, is he one of the neg one
Oh,
to
yeah.
cast? Right?
Yeah.
Because
Black
he gets
Card
the
on a
special.
6.
Everyone that gets a special rule gets the neg.
Everyone who gets a good special rule. So he has.
I think Dark Marsh was the only exception that gets a good rule
Shadow
to cast.
as well.
Anyway, we're talking about
back to the
Harad.
Betrayer.
The Betrayer can spend a point of will, and everyone within 6 inches can re-roll all failed wounds with their poison weapons, not just once. So potentially, really, really powerful.
Surprisingly, that's very good.
Yes.
Whoever would have thought?
Especially if you couple that with like lances getting plus on the wound. And quite good.
Yeah,
Really,
plus
really
one to
good.
wound, knocking things over if you cav with
Yep.
rerolling all failed to wound rolls is very good.
It also makes your shooting not super garbage, but it's still not reliable enough.
Yeah. Strength 2 is terrible.
Mm.
Strength 2 rerolling ones is slightly less terrible, but still terrible.
Yep.
Strength 2 rerolling everything is like actually okay.
It's okay. You got 2 chances to roll a 6.
Especially because, again, when we get to it, like the regular dudes are pretty cheap, the on foot guys,
Very
even
cheap.
the mounted ones are pretty cheap, and you're going to have 50% of them with bows, so you're going to have a lot of bows.
Very true. As far as warriors go, Bill, what's your kind of like... What's your pick? What's your standout?
I'll go for look, even though the models are crap. The watches.
No.
Oops, sorry. Didn't like that one. I was
That was good. You're not allowed to like the watches.
I like the
sorry.
watches. So the twin blades, so for them, the defense 3 is crap. But you fight 4, strength 3, you get 2 attacks if you take them with the blades. Their courage 3, and the dudes get plus 2 to your courage if you're charging something with terror. So the
Yep.
courage 5, they are 9 points though.
They do have resistance to magic,
It's a magic.
to magic and
And they
hatred
hate
spirits.
So
So like,
hatred is +1 or rerolls?
+1. And what's Steely Nova? They get +2 to charge.
+2
terror
to
balls.
courage, yeah.
Right.
That's cool. Oh,
They also can just have bows with poison arrows. They used to be able to have the 2 attacks and the bows, which meant that all you'd ever see in Harad was Watches Arcana. But now you have to choose. I actually still think taking them with the bows is probably better, because for a couple extra points over a regular dude, instead of hitting on a 4+, you're hitting on a 3+, which is a pretty big difference.
and they're still fight 4, so they're slightly better in combat when it
So if you
comes
get
down
caught-
to it. A little bit
And
more
if you
universal.
put them in the back of a Moomac, defense 3 doesn't matter as
That's
much
right, you can put them in there.
with the bows.
Yeah, you definitely can.
And they can throw rocks better than regular Harad as well.
Yes. Can you still make poison rocks?
I don't think so. Thank Christ.
Um,
Let's find out. You guys talk. I'm gonna...
so my pick for like my favourite standout warrior in this army list is actually just the regular Haradrim. Well, not warriors, the Haradrim raiders. They're 11 points each. I would kit them out with a bow and a war spear to make them super universal, to make them 13 points each. They get, in this army, with the army bonus, they get a poison war spear, amazing, and a poison bow, amazing. And you can just, because they're 50% bow limit, literally you can just, half your army can be those dudes. I think that's super obnoxious. What about you?
Well, speaking of half of your army, if you're going to do that, you may as well make the other half of your army cav. You could either go for the Haradrim raiders without bows, or for keeping them at 13 points, which is nice and easy for your brain. Everything in your army that isn't a hero costs 13 points. You can have the Serpent Riders, which are just the Serpent Guard but mounted. They can't have bows. They're fight 4, and then they also have Poison War Spears base. So the only time that really matters is that in this army, obviously, the Raiders also get Poison War Spears, but in the Legendary Legion, the Serpent Riders have Poison War Spears, whereas because the Legendary Legion, which we'll probably get to in a little bit, doesn't have the poison rule for the Raiders and Warriors, the Serpent Riders then still have their poison anyway. They're fight 4, they have Poison War Spears, it's a lance, fight 4 with a lance is pretty good. Fight 4 with the Lance rerolling 1s is pretty good. Fight 4 with the Lance rerolling all failed win rolls, very good.
Honorable mention, may as well round it out. It's the Abracane Merchant Guard.
Big fatties.
Fight 4, Strength 4 with a burly two-handed sword.
Yeah. A 9-point warrior that is Strength 4 burly is quite good.
Especially Fight 4 as well.
Yeah.
It's good.
They're very good at just chopping things. In fact, I think when the old Harad thing was a thing, before burly was a rule, the rule was just called chop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. So, in the Gondor War supplement, there is a legendary legion for the Serpent Horde. What's the legendary legion called?
The Grand Army of the South.
So, what did that introduce? It introduced the character Bill. What's his name?
Razza. Big Raz Dogger. Is that his real name? Just
yeah.
Razza.
Fang of the Serpent.
Fang of the Serpent.
So, what does he do?
She's like the Fang from. You ever watch Harry Potter when they've got the. What do they call it? The stupid. What's the snake thing? Anyway.
Basilisk.
That's
The
it. He's the Basilisk Fang. That's what Razza is. So, Fight 4, which is kind of crap. He's got a special rule that helps that. Strength 4, Defense 4, 3 attacks, 3/1/1. So obviously you must die. So you've got Bane of Kings, which is good. Swarm Protector, Salad Man. So obviously you take them together.
That's cool.
And then, so it's the start of the game. You have to pick a enemy hero, right? So as soon as he comes
In secret.
in
Yeah,
secret,
so you write it down
put it in your back
somewhere, hide
pocket.
it. Yeah.
So as soon as you come in base contact with him in a combat phase, he gains 2 to his fight, so he becomes fight 6 for the duration of that fight until you break
Yeah.
again, and then you're back on.
So every turn you're in combat with that character, you fight.
So it doesn't
6.
count when you lose the fight and get backed away and then they charge you.
Yeah.
That.
Also, just in case people don't know, Bane of Kings is the rule that lets you reroll failed win rolls. He also has a spear, strike and challenge.
Does that become a poison spear?
No, what's really weird about this, and it goes
You've got Bane of Kings.
back to the other thing I was saying that is kind of odd, how like you have this whole one where everyone has war spears and your leader can't take a war spear. Raza, who is the bodyguard, he's a chieftain, and he's bodyguard for Saladin, who is always riding his horse. Raza cannot actually, he does not know how to ride a horse. Never learned.
He doesn't do the thing on the knee. You can't ride a horse.
Yeah, I believe, I don't know, they just never taught him when he was a kid, I guess.
I guess
His
so.
parents pretty
Scared of
named
horses,
He's too busy
maybe.
fighting
Maybe scared of
basilisks.
horses, yeah. Killing Horcruxes.
So it also introduced another profile. The
Another hero, I guess. It'd be another
the
hero.
Numac War Leader.
The big $400 bad boy.
Basically,
It's a Mahud hero.
it's
It's
a
the chieftain.
and you can take him in a Harad army, the Serpent Horde army.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. There's lots
It's
of
a
rules.
Mumac with every upgrade the Mumac can
This
have.
Mumac has muscles. It's
But
on steroids.
Has a,
400 points.
has a really cool thing. If somebody calls a heroic move on a 4+, it cancels it out.
The first time. So only the first heroic.
Each
So
time.
you can, in theory, call a heroic move, have it cancelled, and then call another one so you still get one.
Yeah.
But on a 4+, you just lose the might. And yeah, it's really good.
So it's a
what-
4+. So it's
Yeah,
like the
4+.
Dumoulin, 4+.
12
you
inch
lose.
stand fast.
It's quite good.
You can deploy within 12 inches of it rather than 6 because it's a hero version, so you could actually, in theory, take this with an empty howdah and 18 raiders.
Or 18 camels.
Yeah, it
And a
is a
far
good
right army.
hero. It's quite good.
So what's the
It's good on paper.
Yeah, it's just very expensive. It goes back to the thing about every very expensive model where it has to do something big
Has to get its
for you
points
to
back.
even have a chance in the game.
what's the long and short of the Grand Army of the South, the Legendary Legion?
You have almost every option in the normal Harad army list. You're missing a few things like the Golden King, the Abracan Guard and stuff. You also have all of the Mahud list, the Far Harad stuff, and you can take 50% has to be Haradrim. You can have Mahud heroes can lead Mahud warriors, otherwise everything can lead Haradrim. You have to have at least one Mumakil, and you have to have either Saladin or the Mumak War Leader as your general.
Question. Can you take half trolls in
Yes.
a Mumac and Mission Impossible use the
You
lines?
can
I
have
don't know if they
lines.
can deploy in it.
Maybe.
Because then they can, it's like Mission Impossible half trolls.
I think
That would be good.
Um,
Not
so
even 800 points
the,
because you
spe-
fit
the
12
special
half
rules
trolls in it.
for the Legendary Legion, though, you still have 50% bow limit.
the only models that may ride in a howdah are Haradrim Warriors, Serpent Guard,
Oh.
and Watchers of Karna.
Okay, that's not cool. Cool
The
idea.
Farhad one it'll be in the Farhad one because that doesn't even say Mahud warriors. But basically,
It says the same special.
Wood Warriors and Half Trolls.
so half trolls can, and then they can repelling line down into combat.
Yikes.
650, take 12 of them on a Mumak.
That's your list.
Yep, 650 done.
Can I just quickly change my army list, please? That's good. Yeah, so what bonuses do you get?
Yeah, so you keep your 50% bow limit, you lose the basic warriors having poison, they just have their poison arrows like they normally do.
Yep.
Poison bows wouldn't do anything. All Moomaks in the Force gain Harbinger of Evil, so they get that neg 1 courage bubble that like the ringwraiths and stuff have.
That's cool.
They
That is
keep
really cool.
the Mahud army bonus of, which is if you're within 6 inches of a friendly Mahud hero that's in combat, you pass all courage checks. So the Mahud keep that, so you're not losing anything by taking the Mahud in this. And then the cool special rule of the army is if you have... your army's leader actually, so it doesn't have to necessarily be the Mumak war leader. But your army's leader may declare a free heroic action at the start of any fight phase in which they are engaged in combat with the enemy leader. If the Mumak war leader is your leader, he may still use this ability while atop his royal war Mumak, in which case the Mumak will be affected as if it had been the one to declare the heroic action. Basically, the coolest part about this is it means that if your Mumak war leader is fighting Aragon, your Mumak war leader gets to strike, and the Mumak gets to go up by fight.
Or heroic combat and kill 30 models
Yeah.
when you knock them all
Knock
to
them
the
all
ground.
around and just run
And
through
then do
everything.
another
Yeah, yeah.
stampede. Because normally, correct me if I'm wrong, but normally a Mumak can't do a heroic combat.
Will be affected as influence to the direction.
Because of Heroic March, right? No, he doesn't even have that. Doesn't have anything.
Yeah, I guess so.
So I think, I could be wrong.
Does it get grappling
yes.
lines with that one? Does that get everything? Get every upgrade?
I'm pretty sure it has all of them. Let me go back and have a look.
But yeah, so
It's a Warman Mac of Farhad with gnarled hide, sigils of defiance, tusk weapons, so it does not have
Repelling lines.
Can you pay for them?
No, it just has what it has.
But you can take them in that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Additionally, it
Bill's
has a
planning
fight.
his new army.
It's a fight 5.
I do have
Mumak
12
as well.
half trolls that James gave me.
Oh boy.
Coach, you got a Mumak still? There we go.
Yeah, I do,
I'm done.
actually.
Alright, so the three of us have written 3 800-point army lists. So they'll pop up on the screen.
Which was hard. I don't think I've ever played an 800 point game in my life.
That's all we used to play.
Before the 650.
Just before I came along.
Yeah, but the only reason we don't play 800 points on the channel is because it'll make the games go for even longer. And that's a thumbs down for me.
My first comment on Bill's list, that's a lot of dudes.
It's how many models? 58.
That's a lot of dudes.
And is there cav there? Yeah, there is.
So
there is
every
some
unit,
cav as
every
well.
unit has cab besides one. So there's 13 cav.
How many bows are there?
And all my heroes are on horses besides the
It'll be 50% bonus basically.
Yeah,
Pretty
Alright.
close.
Oh boy,
That's quite good. Again, you don't... So the other thing is the bows and stuff aren't going to be that big a deal because do you have the betrayer? No.
No.
You don't have the
I
betrayer,
just
so
took
you're
the
not going
generic,
to get the rerolls. Yeah.
generic, as many as I could fit in with some cav, some bow,
a lot of fight for.
65% fight for.
Yeah, Sharon's going to do a pretty good job of sneaking off and killing things. They're really good at just cutting through regular dudes.
Great
Saladin
Green
will
King
be-
is just there for a heroic march when you need to fucking move.
You
58
have a
models
6-inch
up
banner.
on a horse.
Yeah,
Cav, a lot of fight for. That's pretty good. It's just a lot of dudes.
it's a pretty solid list.
Just your generic.
It is kind of what you said, isn't it? It's just like, it's just solid. It's just kind of what you'd expect.
Enough dudes that you can't die. in
And
the
you
first
basically
5
need to
turns.
kill 30 models, 30 models to break it.
And then you're going to have 14 left for 25%.
They all are your
defense
whole army
4.
is defense 4 except for your heroes, but
That's kind of a problem with Harad.
That
There's a
is,
few armies
yeah.
that are like that in the game where you're just going to have low defense across the board.
yeah. So interestingly, my army has no cav. Even though I picked the Betrayer as a hero, there is one change you could make in the army. You could drop the Golden King for the Betrayer, which would give all of your poison weapons rerolls, which
Quite good. Especially when
Potentially
you have a lot of
3
poison
inches or 6 inches?
6.
How many points to the Golden King?
He's 130, so the
It's
Betrayer
straight
on a
swap on a
horse,
horse, yeah.
straight swap.
So you
So,
get
Just
that
sub him
armor.
out, coach.
Potentially that's what I would do. But yeah, so I've got 2 chieftains, so I've got heroic moves and heroic marches, and I have the Taskmaster. So the Taskmaster on a 4+, if a hero within 6 inches calls a heroic move, march, or shoot, on a 4+, they don't spend a point of might. So it's just kind of like all about conservation of might, and the Golden King and everything just chops you to bits and shoots you to bits. It's nothing super exciting.
Just a lot of dudes, a lot of damage.
61 models.
The only problem is that your highest fight is 4.
Yes, in the whole
Your whole, everything, like your Aberrant and Guard are the same as your heroes.
Basically, I just try to pepper your heroes with bows, get them off their horses, and then just abracadabra guard them. All of my Watchers of Kana have bows for the increased shooting. It's literally 50% bows.
No cap.
No cap.
No cap.
Why did you choose to put in their Harad warband?
They're cool.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's about sums it up.
It
Really.
also gives you
Honestly,
a little bit of combat.
they're a bit more. So they're only fight 3, but they are strength 4 with war spears. Strength 4 +1 to wound is quite good.
They poison war spears?
No, I don't believe so.
I don't think you get it. For the, you're talking about them
For the
blue hard?
Yeah,
I
but they
think
also the camels.
they just
If
get
they hit
strength
you,
4.
they for charging they go strength 4 hit.
Just a
Regular war spear.
Yeah, strength 1 on the charge, blah blah. Carry models hits both mount and rider, so it hits you cav and your rider.
Oh, that's gross, actually.
Yep.
So it's a free strength 4 hit when you charge stuff. If you charge a warrior and kill them with that strength 4 hit, you can continue moving to hit something else. So you can do like a mini Moomac trample with your 1 strength 4 hit. 12 of those with war spears.
Hard to get.
Yeah, and then the Mahud King himself is actually quite strong.
Not
Fight
bad.
5, strength 5, 3 attacks. Again, has a war spear, so
And is on a camel.
yeah.
So
and
he also gets the
the
impaler.
Yeah.
And has might
He could theoretically might his little impale. I think again we've talked about it every time it comes up, but strength 5 with +1 to wound is dumb. One of the best things in the game. You have a model in this army that can do that, so they just give a bit more punch and means it's not just. Otherwise, it just would have been more warbands. You could drop them and take like almost
1.5 of that. What that
yeah,
is.
another of the. If you took chieftains, you could almost take 2 warbands of the regular dudes again.
So you
And
got
just have a bunch of
45
models.
cav.
Yeah.
So you got to kill what 23
to break.
3 to break.
You basically
It could all go wrong in 1 or 2 turns.
the worst thing for something like this army would be the other thing you could do is drop some of them a hood and ally and say some just so you still have calves, take some Morgul Knights with the Shadow Lord with your Harad. So then you have the Shadow Lord doing his little shooting bubble, because then your biggest weakness with this, everything's low defense. You're gonna get shot at. If you get shot at, you're gonna
You
take a
can
lot of
even just
damage.
take him on a fell beast
Yeah,
and do
honestly.
some wrecking if you have to.
Yeah.
But I think
Because the base is bigger, so you'll be able to fit more horses as well.
between your
6
fight
inches.
for your fight 4 Serpent Riders with poison war spears and your strength 4 war spears from your camels and the camel impact hits and stuff, you have a few bows to just kind of do some shooting if you need to. If you outshoot somebody, you can be a total fuckwit with this army and just kind of play it very safe and do a lot of shooting. If you're outshot, everything's cav, you can get across the board and into combat very quickly. And also all cav armies just look cool.
Yeah, they also take up a lot of space
Yes.
when you
You carry
deploy
That
them.
is a lot of
And in your
a lot of
carry
You
that.
carry gaze, yeah. Yeah, well, that's pretty much. Any last points on the Serpent Horde?
I think, again, same with like having the Mahud in there. Just in general, the Serpent Horde have quite good allies. I think they're green with,
Mordor.
off the top of my head, they're green with Mordor, Corsairs, and Farharad. That's only 3 things, but those 3 lists kind of cover all your bases.
Corsairs, Easterlings.
Oh, Eastlings as well.
No, not Easterlings. It's just Far, Harad, and Mordor, isn't it?
Corsairs. Oh no, sorry, Far, Harad, and
Cool.
Mordor.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
just can't read a graph.
So if you want some high strength stuff, you can take your hood, like I have with the camels. If you wanted some more shooting, you can take Corsairs with throwing knives, and they have the arbalesters with crossbows. And if you just kind of
you
want
want
some stuff,
a
you
quarter
can
of
take,
this book.
you take Mordor. They have so many options.
I think Mordor is better than taking the
Um,
Corsairs, personally. If you want,
Yeah, probably. The Mordor stuff gives you access
if
to...
I was shooting at you, I'm going to kill your Corsairs because of their strength. Like, if you were elves, you would all of it on 4s.
Everything's low defense.
Yeah, the whole
Yeah, but
army
it's
doesn't
5s
have-
and 4s. You'd rather knock off 12 of them to get rid of your 20 models.
But yeah, it gives you access to everyone's favourite profile in the Lord of the Rings, the Morannon. A strength 4 defense 6 dude.
I don't know about favourite.
Yeah, well, it exists.
Least favourite.
Basically, you could then have your front line, if you're going to do a little wall, be Morannon Orcs, and your back line be Harad warriors with spears and bows.
At that point,
Serpent guards to their fight 4. And then you got strength 4.
at that point, just play Mordor and just take Morannon Orcs.
Well, we could say that about a lot of things, couldn't you? If you can ally with Mordor, just take Morannon Orcs instead.
That would like a Mordor Troll Chieftain.
Yeah,
Into
Troll
that mix.
Chieftain with some stuff would be quite cool.
Gives you...
Gives you access also, something we're not thinking about, to war
Access to
machines.
areas.
So you can dismount your opponent's cav, so your cav just dominate. Like
I don't know if those war machines are particularly good, but you do have access to them.
Oh, there's...
The Mordor stuff. The
Mordor
sea-
catapult.
Yeah.
That
one
one
with the troll.
That one's
Yeah,
okay.
man.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
only 200
expensive.
points.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
don't know about the bolt thrower. That's pretty crap.
Anyway, so that's our Dubious Counsel, the Serpent Horde. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time.